Coach Ferentz and the Hawkeyes are back to work on the gridiron. Many plans for the 2025 season are now available. Take advantage of the black plan or the gold plan. Saturdays inside Kinnick Stadium. It doesn't get any better. Visit HawkeyeSports.com for more information.
On the Hawkeye Sports Network from Learfield, this is the Fight for Iowa podcast. Here's the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin.
New Iowa Hawkeye Softball coach Stacy May Johnson has been on the job for about 6 weeks and has already retooled the roster with a half dozen transfer portal signees, 7 freshmen, and 7 sophomores and juniors. May Johnson needs to see them on the field now, practicing for this new era. The Reno, Nevada native and disciple of Hawkeye Hall of Fame coach Gail Blevins is thrilled to be back in Iowa, where she was a 3-time All-Big Ten performer from 2003 through 2006, performed in a College World Series, and was a former assistant coach under Blevins. In 4 years at Fresno State, most recently, May Johnson's teams won 112 games, 37 W's this past year, and a trip to the Mountain West Conference Championship game. May Johnson played professionally for 4 years in the National Pro Fast Pitch League. Now she's back in Iowa City, a place that was hard to leave the first time around.
To be back kind of in the place where I started, in a sense. A lot of people think I grew up in Iowa. I didn't. I grew up out west. But, Iowa City really became my home, my second home. And so this place is as much home to me as anywhere else. And so I'm certainly excited to be back. We've got a different system, and we have to put it all together. We certainly have some pieces. There's no question. But we've got to get it out on the field and practice and see how it goes. And, there's been many teams over the years that you start the season and they're not great, and then they end up being great, and others are very good from the first game. And so those are the things that we'll be looking to figure out. But I certainly don't expect that everything's going to be perfect on day one. Again, I'm a different coach with a different expectation. And we are still filling this roster into what my vision is, and that will take some time. So, the good news, I'm in this for the long haul, and certainly not just trying to be successful over the course of 1 year, but over the course of the next, 20 plus years. That's my plan. I'm here. I'm a Hawkeye, and I'm here to stay.
Coach, you recently signed at least some recruits. Tell us about the mix of new talented Hawkeyes.
Yeah, well, I think top of the list is Serayah Neiss. I don't think that's any secret. She's a left-handed pitcher. She'll be a senior, and she's ready to carry some innings. She's also ready to compete at the highest levels, which will, the Big Ten will give her that opportunity. On top of that, we've signed a couple of talented middle infielders, a talented catcher out of Boise, some left-handed outfield presence from here in the state of Iowa. And overall, we're pretty happy with our transfer class. We feel like it's a good one. We do get a lot of comments out on the recruiting trail. Hey, you guys did great in the portal. But again, that's just step one. Step two is putting it all together on the field.
How many portal pickups do you have, at least at this point?
Yeah, we're at 6 right now.
6. Okay. You mentioned you're building a roster. I noticed you also have a couple signees to your staff.
Yeah, well, we brought Bobby Alvara with us from Fresno. He is, we did pitching very, very well there. And so we want to continue that model here into the Big Ten. It will play at the highest levels. And so bringing some continuity on the pitching side is going to be very, very important. He's a men's fast pitch pitcher with a wealth of knowledge and also a very good player himself. From there, we hired Fran Struve, who was in conference over at Boise State, but she's also an Iowa City native and Clear Creek Amana graduate. So Midwest ties right there, very thoughtful, very smart, really the smartest person in the room as far as I'm concerned. And so we're excited to have her on board. And then we rounded out the staff with Allie Miklish, who is she played at Wisconsin, finished her career at Clemson, and then her first coaching stint was down with Shonda Stanton at Indiana. And so she's got some Midwest Big Ten ties, worked for a very, very good coach in Shonda Stanton, and we know that she'll be ready to step in and contribute to the staff right away.
Well, it's good to hear you brought a couple coaches with you, or at least from the West Mountain region, because it's a new look Big Ten now, and we know how they play softball typically on the West Coast or out west, which is very good. The weather's very conducive, so I know you got to be excited about that piece.
Yeah, absolutely. Just understanding the lay of the land is going to be very important. And stepping into this new Big Ten, we added from the softball perspective three very, very good programs that, they're World Series contenders. Obviously, UCLA's won a multitude of national championships. And so when we talk about competing in this type of conference, we definitely need to have a great vision and execute that vision. And I think these coaches are going to help us do that.
Coach, with the NIL and the transfer portal, much of what still has to play out, what's important to you philosophically in recruiting as you navigate this pay for play arena, understanding Iowa and the way that the Hawkeyes still feel student belongs in front of the athlete?
Well, it's a different world. And I mean, we are still filling it out. I think all of the coaches and all of the sports are experiencing a different model than what it was 10, 15 years ago. Having said that, it is what it is. And we either play with it and we play within the rules, or we get out. And those are our choices because it's here and it's here to stay. As far as I'm concerned, Iowa still has a wealth of talent in softball, tremendously athletic state. For women's athletics across the board, but especially softball. And so our talent pool is here. It's in Iowa. Obviously we will have out-of-state athletes as well, but this is our starting point. And as long as this state continues to turn out talent, which it does, and it will, we will continue to have a competitive program.
Coach May Johnson still ranks in the top 15 in program history for the Hawkeyes for games played, runs, hits, doubles, home runs, RBIs, and batting average. You've played in the World Championships, the Pan Am Games. So, Stacy, let me throw a curveball at you here. Build for us the perfect fit for the Iowa Hawkeyes. What's that softball player look like?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, I mean, I think obviously they have to have the requisite talent. That's the starting point. But once you get past that, I mean, listen, we want great young women from great families, that bleed black and gold, but really, really just wonderful people that we want to come to work with every single day. But make no mistake, they're going to be cold-blooded killers on the field. That's exactly what we need. And, it's throughout the state, Des Moines, as you mentioned, there's a talent pool there. And again, I think some of the athletes are maybe a little bit more raw, but they're tremendously athletic. They're not injury prone. They play a lot of sports, and they just do a lot of things and they get better fast, and I think that's really the benefit of recruiting in state is that we can develop these athletes very, very quickly. And they have a really broad and diverse skill set because many of them still do play multiple sports. And I think a lot of people frown upon that. I don't. I think it's a positive.
May Johnson brought a couple transfers with her from Fresno State, including starting left-handed pitching ace Year Serayah Neiss, who went 20-6 with a 2.03 earned run average. She was the Mountain West Pitcher of the Year, and sophomore Kiera Sipe. Incoming freshman Carly Brewer of Norwalk was a top 100 ranked pitcher in this recruiting class, while Fort Dodge St. Ed's freshman shortstop Mariah Myers, the Iowa Gatorade Player of the Year, and a two-time first-team All-Stater. The Hawkeyes also signed Providence, Rhode Island native Phoenix Silva, who led her team to a 26-1 record, a berth in the state title game. Also an infielder, Silva is a two-time Gatorade Player of the Year. Hawkeye holdovers include outfielders Tori Bennett from Fort Dodge, Cascade's Devin Simon, and infielders Anna Streff of Marion and Kankakey's Avery Jackson. I'll be right back on the Fight for Iowa podcast.
Hello, Iowa. Here's a promise. Wherever you are in this great state, University of Iowa Healthcare is here for you, even if you never walk through our doors. Educating, caring, leading research, sharing our expertise with all. Because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
Iowa Athletics is gearing up for another amazing season filled with exciting matchups and electrifying plays. Get your game face ready and come on out to cheer the Hawkeyes on all season long. Visit HawkeyeSports.com to find tickets, schedules, game times, and more. Go Hawks!
This is the sound of grilling season. It's time to get back to cookouts, to gathering with friends and family, and making memories. And with Hy-Vee's lower prices on thousands of items all over the store, you can still get the best quality meat and everything else you need for your barbecues at prices that will make you smile. Get back to grilling for less, with a little help from Hy-Vee.
Here come the Hawkeyes.
And a Stokey racing to the basket, layup good.
Iowa Athletics is gearing up for another amazing season filled with exciting matchups and electrifying plays.
Working hard into the corner. Koch hits a three.
Get your game face ready and come on out to cheer the Hawkeyes on all season long. Visit HawkeyeSports.com to find tickets, schedules, game times, and more on Iowa. Go Hawks.
Touchdown! Touchdown, Iowa!
Season tickets are on sale right now for Iowa's fall sports, including football, soccer, and field hockey. Visit HawkeyeSports.com to order, find schedules, game times, and more. That's the Fight for Iowa podcast this week. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Gary Dolphin. Go Hawks.
You've been listening to the Fight for Iowa podcast. Hawkeye fans, remember to hit the subscribe button on your favorite podcast app. Once you become a Fight for Iowa podcast subscriber, you'll automatically receive the latest episodes of the Fight for Iowa podcast, the Hawkeyes Voice podcast, Hawk Talk replays, exclusive game day content, and more. Until next time, on Iowa and go Hawks! The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network.